Hi everyone, Carrie Millspaw, and welcome back to my Business by Design Summit. And today in my hot seat, I have a very special person all the way from Arizona. His name is Jeremy Bellotti. He is a TED Talk speaker. So those of you that are interested in TED Talks, you want to pay attention today. He's also an author, and of course, he is the founder of Fit Life Entrepreneur. How are you, Jeremy?
I'm doing great. I'm burning up out here in the desert.
I'm right here with you. You know what? It actually cooled off, so life's been pretty good. It's been.
Yeah, no, it's starting to. I hear the other 3 months of the year are absolutely perfect here, so I'm looking forward to it.
That's right. You're new to the desert. I'm so sorry.
I wanted to move out in like the worst time.
I know every day you're like, really? What? Can I just go outside? Yes. Where are you from originally? Like originally, like born and raised.
Man, I feel like I've traveled so many places. I'm like, it's hard to remember. People always ask me, where are you from? I'm like, I'm originally from the East Coast. Where am I from? It's from Florida. So yeah, I was born and raised in Florida, spent honestly most of my life there. And after my undergraduate, I ended up traveling just a ton. I spent a lot of time in the Midwest. I was in Tennessee. I was in Indiana. I spent a lot of time going up and down the East Coast, from all the way from Maine and New Hampshire down to Florida. And then I ended up spending a lot of time traveling internationally as well. I've traveled to pretty much every continent. Spent a lot of time in Europe. So, and then now I'm on the West Coast. So I spent a lot. I lived about a little over a year in California, and then moved out to Arizona here.
Yes, in Arizona it is. I'm from Michigan. I always tell everybody our summer is like that winter. You just don't leave the house. But at least you don't have to shovel heat. It's so much better than snow.
Yeah. And what's so interesting is like people are like, well, how can you, how do you not just wearing shorts every single day? Well, what's interesting is that when you're in a climate like this, people blast the AC. So it is freezing inside.
Yes.
I mean, you go into any indoor facility or anything like that, it is freezing. Yes. So ironically, in a place like this, you actually have to bring some extra.
Yes. Yep. When I worked in the corporate world, I had like the sweater on. I'm all cuddled up at work, freezing. Oh, yeah. Kind of messed up. So share with us, Jeremy. I mean, we really want to know your story. Those of us that are watching, you're an entrepreneur. You're even a TED Talk speaker, which is pretty cool. Everyone wants to check that off the list. Tell us how you got into this. Did you always start off with one foot in entrepreneurship, or did you kind of evolve into it?
It was definitely an evolution into it. I mean, I really believe that, everything is really learned. Everything is habitual. And you know what? By all means, the first 20 years of my life, I was not living in an entrepreneurial environment by any means. The environment was go to school, get a job, work for 30 or 40 years, retire, and die. That was essentially the pattern, right? That was the human experience that I grew up around. It's not good, bad, or indifferent. It is what it is. And based on the results of that environment, that was the path that I was going down. What opened me up to entrepreneurship as a whole and really allowed it empowered what was already inside of me, because I definitely always had a free spirit, if you will. I mean, when I was younger, I was the kid that could not sit still. I could not, I was not going to align with the traditional way of education. I was not going to sit, in the class, not say anything, and I was not going to sit in the line and not be able to move around. So I was very active as a kid. So I always kind of had this within inside of me just to like really do more and kind of this entrepreneurial spirit as a whole. What opened me up to it, though, in my environment was honestly a couple of different things. Number one, being able to get around people who were already kind of, on this path, both through friends as well as just kind of people I ended up meeting after my undergrad. And this was just random meetings, just people kind of connecting with other people and seeing what else was possible. At this point, I mean, granted, I had not traveled at all, pretty much. I had traveled up and down the East Coast, playing sports and everything, but I didn't really open up a perspective of what was really, really possible beyond, kind of my circle of influence, if you will. And I ended up getting connected with some people who had created that lifestyle for themselves, who were doing things online. This was like, 2006, 2007-ish. And started opening my mind up to, okay, there's a whole nother world out here beyond what I'm currently doing, which is just, I have a job, I have a bachelor's degree education. There's something more. And it started opening me up to that. And that's really when I started kind of getting a better idea that something more was out there, which was really just the first step. So the next step after that was hitting rock bottom.
Gotta love the rock bottom. I think we all learned the most at that space.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, we all have this at some level, and, it's a rock bottom depending on where you're at, right? I mean, some people's rock bottom is different than others. Well, mine was basically living out of my car for about 8 months, completely hopeless in where I wanted to go. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Again, at that time, all I had, because again, the mindset of what success meant to me, or at least what success was perpetuated to mean, was get a really good education, get some experience, and then go get a great career that you can, make a lot of money at or whatever. Well, at the time, I had an education, but it was a degree that really isn't going to facilitate any level of massive wealth. So I had an okay degree, but I had no experience. And so therefore I was kind of stuck in like this feeling of, I don't know what to do. And I have none of the framework that I'm supposed to have under the environment of success that I grew up to know. So what the heck am I supposed to do? And so I felt really hopeless, really lost, didn't have a strong purpose behind anything I wanted to create. And so, yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I ended up hitting a rock bottom, if you will, of I need to do something or else this is going to turn very, very bad. I ended up alienating a lot of very dear people I truly cared about. I've since reconnected with them, luckily. But yeah, it was just a really, really hard time. And it stemmed from not knowing what was possible. It wasn't necessarily stemming from that I had a complete lack of purpose. It's just that purpose wasn't empowered to fully come out and fully shine because I didn't know the different perspectives of what was truly possible. So that ended up really just like it threw me down a rabbit hole of I need to go explore this in some way. So yes.
That's just that's the part that I always was frustrated with the corporate world, and I've started up 4 businesses. When people don't know, because we're looking, okay, my degree's this, my resume looks like this, I don't fit into the box of society.
Right.
And you're like, I don't check off enough boxes to even apply for that job. It's
right.
The most limiting bullshit on the planet. It sucks.
It is. And it's, the thing is, it does 2 things, right? Number 1, it limits your ability to truly see what's possible. But number 2, it also creates a paradigm where you have the opposite end of that spectrum, which is jobs are terrible. You don't want a job. You have to become an entrepreneur. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that either, because too many people, for example, me in many ways, I ended up somewhat doing this, is they'll be in a job and they hear that, and they immediately quit their job and they want to go run and be an entrepreneur. You just eliminated all of your income to go do something and pursue a passion or a path that I have to be honest with you, you're not going to be making income anytime soon. Yeah. Especially if let's say you're pursuing something in the tech world, or you're creating something where you need to build investments. I think one of the biggest things that people do wrong is they go from this one diluted reality and they create more delusion by thinking they can just eliminate that reality and go into this amazing space of entrepreneurship and then thrive, and they'll have millions of dollars, and all of a sudden they're going to be like, living a lifestyle on a beach somewhere. And I think it's just replacing one delusion with another. And so I think there needs to be this understanding that, having a job can be a powerful platform for me to truly create what I want in life, but it's not the end all be all. It's not really where I want to be. But don't allow, don't allow how and what you need to do to suffocate who you truly wish to become. And I think too many people allow that to happen. They're like, well, I don't want a job right now. I need to go focus on my business, and I need to do this and that. And so they're just like, I'll get rid of this job. So there needs to be some understanding of the circumstances. Now, if you're in a job or if you're in an environment at all that is completely depleting you of energy, of positive energy, of anything that will empower you to do something beyond that, by all means, escape that polluted environment. I'm not talking about that type of scenario. If you're in an environment where it is not going to allow you to thrive whatsoever, let alone support you in your mission to create something more, cut it out. Absolutely. That gets to go, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's an environment of family, if it's an environment of your job, that gets to be eliminated. And you get to get rid of that and no longer look back. But when it comes to, some people just have a job and all of a sudden they have this idea to become an entrepreneur. I think there just needs to be some understanding that if you're an entrepreneur, number one, it doesn't necessarily mean you don't have a job, right?
Right.
Because, for example, I have many of jobs. When I go do speaking engagements, I have a job. I have an obligation to deliver a service to my client or to that person, to my employer, if you will. They are paying me to go do a job. So I think it's important for people to understand that, these ideas, a job isn't necessarily evil. Entrepreneurship doesn't necessarily mean you're automatically going to be making tons of money and sitting on a beach sipping margaritas someday.
Right.
It just needs to be very, very clear to people, I think.
I'm just going to interject for a second because I love the reality you're painting this picture perfect. I did the same thing. 2009, I had a startup company here in Las Vegas. It went sideways. I took a job for 5 years, which was probably one of the best things I ever did with a global business coaching company.
Yeah.
Jobs sometimes can be your university, your time to learn.
Yep.
Take a breath, kind of take a step back. Hired a business coach a few years ago to teach me the online marketing so I could get back into my coaching full time. Yep. But I did it smart. I'm a single mom. I'm not going to go. I didn't quit. I didn't let go of one branch before I built the other branch.
Right. Exactly.
And my mindset, my job was my business loan. That's how I saw it. It's just from one branch to the next. Once I created the bridge, it was a lot easier to walk away, and it was a lot more logical. And that's a possibility for anyone out there.
And that's the key right there. And you just hit on it, which is the purpose you had behind your actions. There was a purpose behind it. There wasn't just, well, I'm going to have a job and just kind of like wing it with this entrepreneurial thing, and just kind of see how it happens. And every day is like, just kind of haphazard. No, every single day for you was an intentional purpose behind getting to where you wanted to go. So you were actively engaged in the process of truly creating the life you wanted, and having a job at the time was a part of that building block in that process. And I think that is the key for people to really understand and to grasp the habits and the mindset shifts that need to be made. Not necessarily that you need to get out of your job right now and you need to go be an entrepreneur.
Right. And that creates desperation. And now you should never build a business out of desperation. We can smell it a mile away.
Exactly. I see so many people do that. It's like you just cut off, like even people making a 6-figure income, they're making right around, $8,000 a month, let's say. You're going to cut $8,000 a month out of your income automatically and then go try and be in this abundant, prosperous mindset to be able to go empower others to buy things from you. That's just, you have to think realistically about that. So actually, I don't want to say realistically. I want to say rationally.
Yeah.
Because
I don't like the word realistic.
Yeah.
It squashes all your dreams.
It just didn't sound good. But no, I agree with you. I'm much more of, you must think rationally, but do not consider being realistic.
Right. Have a game plan.
Right.
That's what dreams are. Is dreams. Goals are just dreams with a game plan. You got to have your damn game plan. And I had one. Trust me.
Exactly.
Now, what's interesting is when the longer I stalled on my exit strategy out of fear, because you start to second guess yourself,
Right.
the universe was just making life really hard at work. It started to become that toxic environment that you described.
Yeah.
It was like, get out. You've done the work. Go. Why are you still here?
I think some ways that you can be very clear on that. And there's three things. Number one, to be able to really, really get clear on what you're passionate about and how to turn that into success. The first thing is your whyvation, what I call whyvation. And that's essentially the purpose that motivates and inspires you to actively engage in your dream life. Because too many people, they will completely, again, there's a lack of intention. And when there's a lack of intention, there soon becomes a lack of true purpose and understanding of where am I going? What am I, like, I've been doing something for the last 30 days, but I don't really know what's behind it. So you have to have like this truly defined whyvation. The second thing is you must align your values. And the three values that I say are absolutely innate within the human experience. This is across the board. People, every single person has these values and can absolutely tap into these values. Number one is authenticity. Because there's only one you. There is that one person inside of you that is just dying to come out, you know, and too many people think of authenticity as like this weak position of kind of like sinking into their deeper whatever. No, the root word of authenticity is authority. It's your authority to truly empower who you are to come out to the world, which is a very scary thing. So authenticity is number one, the number one value. Number two is empathy. A true understanding of what others' needs are. And if you don't have empathy as like a foundation of business, and really just as life, you're not going to succeed. Because if you're in business to make money, money will never come. It's kind of like trying to be the cool kid in high school. If you're trying to be the cool kid in high school, you're going to be in the trash can so quickly, upside down, like it's not going to look good.
The word try right there is where you screwed up.
So if you're attempting to make money in business, you're inevitably going to fail, whether it's today or whether it's 5 years from now. You're going to go under. If your business does not have an underlying foundation of how do I serve the needs of the people that I'm really trying to connect with, and absolutely falling in love with them, you're not going to be able to sustain it, and definitely not in today's world. I mean, let's just be honest. Try to hide something in today's economy. So empathy. The third thing that's an innate value within all of us is perseverance. We all have an ability and a true, deeper connection with what it is to overcome, to truly face challenges head on. We all have this innate wonder of what it is to move forward and what it is to be better and what it is to, create our best selves and our best lives. And to be able to persevere through the challenges that lead us to getting there, we all have the innate value behind us. Well, it's just about empowering you to be able to understand how to do that in many ways, but also what are different perspectives that allow you to see around your blind spot, to be able to see around that obstacle, to be able to look to mentors or coaches who have been there, who can literally see the angle that you are trying to get around and say, yeah, no, it's totally cool. It's greener grass on the other side. You have a whole nother opportunity beyond that. That's what most people are looking for. Most people don't lack a drive or a perseverance. They lack a direction and clarity of what the path truly looks like. They lack a sense of security.
Yeah.
And that's really what they're looking for. And that's why people are so afraid of taking action and being actively engaged in it, is because they're just not sure what's on the other side. So those are the first two: strong whyvation, and then align your values on those three innate values that we all have. Number three is to think from the person you wish to become.
I love that.
And I think that's really, really powerful, because so many people are attempting to become millionaires and they're thinking from the person that's not even making six figures yet. Well, when you become actively engaged with sharing and really becoming this open, authentic, just full being, your path inevitably paves itself. And one of the biggest things when it comes to kind of thinking from this person is you have to own who you are today, appreciate and respect who you were yesterday, and you must think from the person you wish to become tomorrow. If you can approach each day like that, that's really going to give you a keen awareness of how to create success in life. And like I said, too many people, they're making decisions based on, let's say, the $5,000 a month. The $5,000 a month Jeremy would make a lot different decisions than the Jeremy who's making $1 million a month.
Right.
And I'm not saying that the $5,000 a month Jeremy should go invest in some major, throw all his money into a major stock somewhere. What I'm saying is, would a $5,000 Jeremy, or I'm sorry, $1 million Jeremy, maybe say no to an opportunity to be coached by someone to become better? Would the $1 million Jeremy say no to an event or a potential opportunity to create relationships that might lead me to the next opportunity? Because too many times the $5,000 Jeremy is going to say, we analyze, right? We're like, is this going to give me money right now?
Yep.
If not, I don't know if I want to really engage in it. But it could be the one thing that leads you to the millions of dollars down the road.
Right.
That's the thinking that needs to really be perpetuated. And I think it goes back to having a job, right? Too many people are like, well, I don't want this $4,000 a month job when I can go be an entrepreneur and potentially make all this money immediately. And it's just like, no, understand that this is, like you said, an investment in the long-term success of your business and of your life. So I think that's really, really key.
I love this. You really hit home with the third one too, because we do operate from a scarcity mindset instead of an abundant mindset. And that's where $1 million Jeremy shows up. And
it's
abundance.
it's by all means, it does not, that challenge does not stop. The more
it doesn't.
Really? I mean,
every time you up level, there's a new challenge.
100%. You up level to the next standard, and the challenges only come with you.
Yes.
There's just new challenges. There's just new barriers to being able to get to a higher level. So it's like, again, I think just having a keen awareness of all of this and really just being understanding of, okay, I'm going to face challenges. I'm going to have this. Understanding and being aware of what's truly going to happen is inevitably going to lead you to confidence, to commitment, to motivation, and having a clarity as to where you're really going.
I love that. I love that. So talk some more about the mindset needed to be an entrepreneur, and kind of tell us a little bit about the Fit Life Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So the name and all of the fun stuff behind that.
Yeah. Well, Fit Life Entrepreneur fuels the high performance lifestyle. That's really the premise of it. The reason I'm so passionate about Fit Life Entrepreneur and, just where it's grown over the last year or so is honestly just my passion for living an active, adventurous, and abundant-minded lifestyle and sharing that with others, that it's possible, number one, and number two, that it truly creates massive fulfillment for both you and the people around you and the impact that you're able to have. And I see so many people, again, becoming entrepreneurs, and they get into it because they want to make money, or they get into it for whatever reason, and all of a sudden they lead them down this path, even when they become successful, where they're still not really creating an impact for themselves. Let's say they're just completely out of shape, they're not active, they don't go out and connect with people, they just kind of sit behind their computer and really just, don't really get engaged very much. And also the level of impact on a wider scale isn't happening. And so Fit Life Entrepreneur is really fueling that level of high performance in every area of life. And really what I've come up with in terms of my philosophy when it comes to entrepreneurial peak performance are 4 pillars. And that's personal empowerment. And I use that very, very specifically because too many people are talking about personal development, which, yes, is critical, but they don't go that extra step, which is empowering yourself to utilize that self-help and actually apply it into your life on a daily basis. So I use personal empowerment very specifically. The next is optimal health and vitality. And again, I use the words very, very specific because too many people are like, well, it's fitness and nutrition, right? Well, yes, it is fitness and nutrition, but it's also a strategic blueprint to becoming truly like optimizing your vitality in life. That's what it's about. Yes, I can give you a plan that might help you look better in 90 days or 80 or 60 days, but are you really going to be able to feel superhuman on a daily basis and feel focused on being able to create what you really want in life on a daily basis? So optimal health and vitality. The next one is lifestyle. And this comes down to relationships. It comes down to who you're connecting, your network, your environment. What is the lifestyle that you're truly creating for yourself? Getting very clear on that, your purpose. And then the last thing is being able to really take all of that and become a better leader. So leadership, being able to empower others. And one of the most, the underlying principles of leadership is being able to empower others to live their creative genius and allow that to thrive within them. I mean, that is the underlying just premise of leadership. It's not being this person on a pedestal. It's kind of, and I heard this from one of my mentors, Marie Forleo, who I absolutely love.
Of course.
Yeah.
She's my brunette twin.
Oh my gosh, she's so awesome.
I love her personality.
Yeah, one of the things I heard a couple of years from her on stage, which she has an incredible presence on stage, by the way. I don't know if she does this at every event, but at this event, it was an event from Ramit Sethi. And it was so funny because throughout the entire event, it was a 3-day event, throughout the entire event, like Friday and Saturday, she was like in scrubs in the back, just like hanging out, kind of like watching and everything like that. And then, she gets on stage and she is dolled up to like the T. She looked amazing, had this just powerful presence on stage. She had these like enormous heels on that made her look like 10 feet tall up on stage. And it was just really, really powerful. I thought that was interesting. But one of the things that she said that I'll always remember is lead from the side. Take a stance as a leader of holding the hand of the person you are leading and literally taking them through that journey. And not being this person on a pedestal that's telling everybody, here's what you should do in life. Here's the right way to live. Here's the right way to create a business. Really leading from the side and taking people along the journey with you is so much more powerful and so much more authority building than trying to be this leader who's, who has an ego.
Yeah, just dictating doesn't quite work. I always tell my clients, I'll walk through the fire with you.
Exactly.
Because that's when it really works.
So powerful. So that really changed the game for me when it came to how I approached clients, how I approached my business, how I approached really just being a leader as a whole. And I applied that within the pillars of entrepreneurial peak performance for Fit Life Entrepreneur. So
that's like the best accountability on the planet is to be a leader, to be visible.
Oh, absolutely.
Live your best life out of accountability just because people are watching.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, when you live it, it truly becomes you, and it truly allows you to, again, it just empowers you to allow your best self to come to the forefront.
Yes, I love that you touched base on being a superhuman, because I would like to sign up to be a superhuman, please.
Well, this is it. This is the community to do it. There's so many powerful people who are in the optimal performance space that are just a part of this movement. And it's just such a powerful thing, especially as an entrepreneur, because we're always looking for ways to up-level our business. Yet we tend to really, really struggle with finding those ways to up-level, again, our vitality and our way of being and our overall health.
Right. How can you carry more? If you can't even pick up what you've got now, how's the universe going to hand you more? I mean, you're like, you're struggling under all of this pressure.
Exactly.
You know, I had a great session with my own coach, and I have a couple that I work with. And she's like, Carrie, you're scheduling hikes in the middle of your day. Please put this on your calendar. Take a snapshot that you're doing this.
Yeah.
Because I'm a workaholic by nature. I love what I do. It's a part of me. You know, it's my identity. So it doesn't feel like work, but I will get stuck behind that computer, like you mentioned.
Honestly, I think it's interesting, the social dynamics as well as the neurological and biological science behind the power of activity to be able to engage others in your passion. And what I mean by that is there's a big difference between sitting maybe on a phone and talking to someone, and maybe they're on the phone sitting there and you're trying to close them into like a $1,000 program or something like that. You're trying to inspire and empower them that they're worth paying you to be able to help them. There's no emotional, neurological like stimulation whatsoever. But if you're out on a hike maybe, or, you know, again, this is why business people always go and play golf or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. When there is that level of interaction and engagement, you're not only able to connect with them on a deeper level, but emotionally, neurologically, everything is kicking. You know, the endorphins are going, like people are just excited, and you're going to be able to fuel and tap into that energy. And people are going to want to be a part of anything that you're doing because they see it, they feel it, they just like it's coming out of you. And the activity around it is fueling their ability to want to emotionally engage with it. So I think that's an interesting thing. People completely disregard that.
Right. And you'll hear people that say, just raise your vibration. Well, that can be esoteric if people don't understand what that means.
No, nobody knows what the hell that means.
Exactly. I mean, in other words, go on a hike, your endorphins are up, you feel on top of the world. Now everyone wants a piece of that.
Right.
That's what that means.
Right, exactly. Now me and you in this world of higher understanding and learning, yes, we kind of get that and we understand it, and it wouldn't need to be explained. But if you're telling like somebody like, hey, you know, if you want to have success in this program, it's about truly raising your vibration and being able to get deeper connected with, like, you know, whatever. And you're talking about Mercury retrograde and shit. No one's gonna know what the hell you're talking about.
They're like, oh wow, she's out there.
Exactly. Yeah. So
we need to bring them to our level. So dumb it down. Don't be afraid to dumb it dodown. Talk to them like they're 5. You're going to lead them from the side, like you said. You've got to go through those steps.
Exactly. I think one of the keys too is always you tell them and you speak to them how they want to be spoken to, and then when they are a part of your vision, a part of what you are doing, you give them truly what they need to succeed in life and to progress in their business and their relationships, whatever it might be. So you give them what they want and speak to them how they want to bring them in, to attract them in, and then you truly give them what they need to be able to empower them to move forward and succeed in life.
I like that. I like that mindset.
Yeah. And again, just kind of a misconception. I think people they come up with a great idea for a business, a great idea for a product. And they're like, I know people need this. I know they need this. And then they try to talk to them as if they need it. They don't give a shit.
They might not even know they need it yet.
Right. Exactly. They might not even know they need it. Or you might just be speaking to them in a way where they don't care about you. They don't care about your product. It might be the nicest, shiniest thing ever. They care about solving their problems.
Yes.
And unless you start caring about solving their problems, they're not going to care about you.
Right.
Nor do they have a reason to. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line, is like you have no, you're not entitled to being liked.
Oh man, in this age with social media and narcissism.
I know, exactly. You can put up all the amazing, photos on Facebook and Instagram, but no one cares.
Right.
Our lives, as exciting as we want to make them look on Instagram, on Facebook, on social media, no one gives a shit. They're going to like it, but if you haven't noticed, there's not a dislike button on Facebook yet.
Nope, and there probably won't be.
Yeah, and if there is, people are going to start realizing that their lives aren't as exciting as they thought.
I got more dislikes than likes today.
Exactly. exactly. I thought this amazing photo of me, like, jumping out of whatever would get so many likes. Yet people are like, no, I don't give a shit. I don't care.
I'll make my own dreams happen.
Exactly.
I
No, so
love that.
it's about offering value, and it's a good thing because our ecosphere of as entrepreneurs is going more and more towards that, more and more towards you have an obligation to truly provide value for people, to truly speak to them the way that they want to be spoken to, and to really start understanding this, which is good because that means that marketers who truly take a very serious passion behind what we do are going to thrive. And then those people who are just kind of like, they don't really care that much. They're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and they just want to make some money. They're going to die off very quickly.
Yep.
That's what happens. And that's a good thing. It elevates the standards of the market.
That's why they need a strong wivation.
Yes, a strong wivation. Absolutely. And that's why it's so critical to do that.
I love it when you guys make up your own words. It's awesome. Yeah. We're all creative crazies out there making shit happen.
Well, there you go. I'm trademarking that. The Bellotti wivation.
I love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I want to wrap up today because we're getting towards the top of the hour. More importantly, how can our audience connect with you? Share us with that. How can they connect with you, please?
Yep. The best way to connect with me is on my primary website, which is jeremybellotti.com. And what I would like to kind of provide for listeners here, you guys have been amazing. If you stuck through this whole thing and just kind of like really connected with the message, I'm going to be giving you guys a blueprint. It's called an up-level blueprint. It will be able to literally lay out the foundation for everything you need as a framework to start creating the habits in your day, to create success, to create, fulfillment. And along with that blueprint will be also an opportunity for a free acceleration session so we can help you implement that. So that'll be at jeremybellotti.com/blueprint. So people can go there and get what they need. And I would love to connect with them. By all means, anybody can reach out to me via all social media. Facebook, Instagram, as well as Periscope are our 3 primary ones. I do a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. But those are the 3 primary ones that people can really reach out to me, connect with me, and really be able to, kind of have a deeper conversation.
I love it. A blueprint to the acceleration part. Is that how we get to superhumanness?
That is how you get to superhumanness. And like I said, that's how you fuel the high performance lifestyle. That's the blueprint to be able to start, manifesting that in your own life.
I love it. I love it. Expansion time. Beautiful. Any final thoughts you want to give our audience today?
Final thoughts. What I always talk about is when you lead with love and purpose and live with passion, we win at life together. So really, really consider along every single minute of your day, are you doing that? Are you truly being intentional about it? And what's the higher purpose behind it? So that's what I would leave people with.
I love it. It's got to be way more than, I just want to pay the bills. No.
It's ironic how it happens, but when you focus on the fundamentals, the success happens. When you focus on the success, you lose track of the fundamentals, and there's errors all over the place. You're striking out.
Yeah. When you're on point and you're in your genius zone, you get a waiting list like I have right now. And it's just like, oh, take a number.
Yeah, you fit me into all of this. I'm like so grateful.
It's all good. I only work with the best. Speaking of higher vibration, I think mine's raised just talking to you today. So thank you for that. It's just what I needed to complete my whole day today.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I'm going to let everyone go. Thank you so much, Jeremy. It was a pleasure interviewing you today and learning about your journey to entrepreneurship. So blessings and hugs to everybody.